My air fryer is one of my most favorite appliances I own. I use it as a microwave, an oven, a fryer, and it's great. So I tried and rated your air fryer recipes on the basis of creativity and taste to find my favorite. And yeah, let's get you started with the first one. Okra chips by Shreya. You know how I told you I grew up being very texture picky and not eating a ton of vegetables? Bhindi or okra was one I actually never ate, although it has grown on me a bit in the past few years. This recipe is very simple and not at all complicated, so I just had to try it to see if I'd like it. All we need to do is cut off the tops and bottoms of the ladyfingers and then slice through the center. Place them in a bowl, season with simply salt and olive oil and air fry. You need to place them cut side down on the parchment paper and make sure they don't overlap, and once air fried, these turned out so crispy and they're not slimy at all. Like the only major texture you're dealing with is a good crisp. Seasoned with peri peri and chaat masala, and I really liked it, and I would highly recommend this to anybody who doesn't eat bhindi otherwise. You do need to eat it quickly though, because if you keep it for long, it'll just go limp. I've made them so many times since I filmed this video because in 20 minutes you have nutritious chips that actually taste amazing. I didn't rate these recipes on ease because I just didn't think it would be fair, but if I had, this would have easily gotten a 10 for ease. This gets a 7 for creativity and 9.5 for taste. Chocolate chip banana cookies by Mahi. I am not that great with words, so I'm gonna keep this short, but Mahi is one of those people who's been constantly supporting this channel, and she's always so genuine and sweet in the comments, and she's always so encouraging, and I just really appreciate her presence. So even though the measurements in this recipe sounded a bit I went ahead with it because I do trust her. We mashed 1 banana. I did 2 because these were small, and all the rest of the ingredients, which include 2 tablespoons of chia seeds, which is kind of the part I was sketchy about. Oh, and I used basil seeds, but it's fine because they pretty much do the same thing. I'm so happy to have been wrong about the chia seeds. They were actually not too much. They acted as an egg replacement by adding more binding to the cookie dough, and you know what this reminds me of? The popping brownies I made, I don't even know when, but it is on this channel, and yeah, that one also had chia seeds. Press the cookie dough very evenly on a parchment paper with the help of a fork and we air fry, and that's pretty much it. I don't think this is 1 serving, so I cut it in a few pieces and then added those to a bowl, and we literally go in with the toppings. There's a lot. I did some vanilla ice cream, drizzled some Nutella, some extra toasted peanut butter and coconut flakes to make up for the lack of it in the ice cream. This was delicious. I even ate the cookie just on its own and it was very nice, and obviously even better with all the toppings. It's chewy, slightly soft, and it's good. I'll give this a 9 for creativity, and I probably would have given it like an 8 or 8.5 for taste just for the cookie, but it is definitely a solid 9 for the sundae. Potato and salsa baked by Saloni. This recipe uses frozen McCain smileys, but I made it. So I filmed the smiley recipe for my YouTube shorts, and even though it turned out so delicious and crispy and airy, I do think the video production can be improved a lot, so it didn't make it on there, but here it is. Mash boiled potatoes and turn it into a dough with some cornstarch and salt. It should be very smooth and non-sticky. Roll out the dough, it doesn't have to be too thin, and here's the fun part. Make the smileys with the help of a bowl, straw and spoon. We are humans, of course we judge, but judging on somebody's smile is just so mean, so don't even try to say anything about them because I know them personally and they tried their best and they have great personalities, so just don't say anything. I like to freeze them for an hour or so before I fry. I also made heart-shaped ones, which you can make by rolling the dough into a log and then tucking in the ends. I love heart-shaped things. They just make me so happy, and I think things taste better also when they're heart-shaped. Deep fry, and you can tell how crispy they were. They were crispy and crunchy, which is the best thing, and they were just so good. I actually did air fry a few of them, but they didn't look or taste like the McCain ones. So we're just going to use these in the recipe because if I'm not wrong, McCain smileys are already pre-fried, so it's kind of the same thing. Okay, so now on to Saloni's recipe. We start with the salsa. Combine onions, green chilies, tomatoes, coriander and lime juice with seasonings like chili powder, salt and pepper, and that's it. Assemble the salsa with the smileys. The smileys and hearts go as the base, the tangy salsa on top, and then finish with mozzarella cheese. Air fry, and now the toppings is where this recipe kind of goes ham. So we have pickled jalapenos, kimchi, chili oil, ketchup, sriracha, and finally some spring onions. So we have like 3-4 sources of heat in this recipe, but I think it worked out because the salsa is sour, which goes with the tangy and spicy kimchi. The cheese mellows out the spiciness along with the crispy potatoes, and the jalapenos and spring onions just give it a nice crunch. I was a bit unsure if the tomatoes would tie well. We're also doing ketchup, which is technically just tomatoes and sugar. I liked it. My brain was a bit confused because it is an explosion of flavors and spices, but it works. So I'll give this a 9.5 for creativity. Obviously, it is super creative, and 8 for taste. Blooming Onion by Sania. I love onion rings and I've seen so many people make this blooming onion, so I definitely wanted to try Sania's air-fried version. As you can see in the background, I practiced cutting my onion to reduce the very high chances of me messing up because my knife skills, they are actually very poor, and yeah, I need to invest in a good sharp knife and learn. Big sized onions are actually not that easy to find where I live, so I went to my local grocery market and I asked them to give me the biggest onions they had, and these were 2 of them. A lot of times onions this big, they have skins on the inside too, so I just snipped them off with a scissor, and yeah, not too bad. Like, I think they're okay. I did a good job. I did an okay job. Good is like an overstatement. I did okay. They are like lotuses made out of onions. So we have 2 dips. One's a dry mix made with all-purpose flour and a bunch of seasonings like oregano, cumin, garlic, and then we have the wet mix, which is made with starch, salt and pepper, chili powder, and milk. You take your onion, dip it into the dry, and just make sure everything is well coated, and then you put that into the wet mix. Coat this very well, and like Sania said, it can be very messy. Seal the wet with the dry mix again, and when everything is in place, air fry. I also brushed them with some olive oil off camera, and these actually took way longer than 15 minutes. I think it was like 23 minutes or something. I think these turned out beautiful. Like, look at them. Stunning golden brown crisp exterior with tender onions, and with some ketchup and mayo. It was amazing. I just talked about the texture picky thing for the okra chips. Well, it is the same thing for onions as well. Like, when onions are this translucent kind of plasticky texture, I can't do that, which I know is natural for onion rings and blooming onion, but yeah, I ate like a good portion of this and I enjoyed it, but I couldn't eat more than that. I'll give this a 7.5 for creativity and 8.5 for taste. Rice popcorn by Vidya. I was so excited for this recipe because it just sounded like it would be amazing. So we take some rice, wash it, pat dry, and then add to an air fryer where it gets toasted. I did this in batches to make sure every single grain was toasty. Now cool down the rice and then blend it into a powder, which is obviously our very own homemade rice powder. We're doing 3 types of rice popcorn. There's green chutney inspired one with fresh coriander, green chilies, garlic and salt. A simple masala one with chili powder and garam masala, and lastly, there's a cream cheese one. Now comes the part which I would have never thought could almost make me cry, but I'm just gonna put that on my period and not on this recipe. In fact, I thought it was going to be the easiest step because I love kneading a dough, I love baking bread, but this dough was like wet sand, and that is because of the gritty texture of the flour. The cream cheese one still formed a tight dough because of the fat, so I think using like hot water or any form of binding agent could have saved this because it refused to be the atta dough texture Vidya wanted. I just put all 3 of them in piping bags and piped them out onto baking paper, and I'm happy to report this worked. The first time round, the pop stuck to the parchment, so for the next time, I brushed the paper with some ghee and then piped the dough. Also, I was trying to find some similar recipes on YouTube for reference, and I came across this one by Hallie Burns, where she made rice popcorn, but instead of using rice flour, she used cooked rice, which I think would work better. Honestly speaking though, I'm just happy that these turned out to be at least something decent. I know these could have looked even better, but you really need to start being satisfied with things rather than being disappointed with everything, which is very easy to do, but don't be disappointed so easily. These were crumbly and light. The cream cheese one smelled like Cheetos cheese puffs, and my personal favorite was the green one. I'm not gonna lie to you, this recipe was pretty stressful for me. Just the dough part, like that stressed me out a lot. But I'm just happy that it came to life. It was hard, but it all worked out in the end and it was good. This is absolutely a 10 for creativity and a 7 for taste. final verdict. We have the banana chocolate chip cookies as the winner, and yeah, that is it for me rating your air fryer recipes. Next episode will be trying and eating your rice recipes, so if that's something you are interested in and would like to participate, feel free to drop me an email and send me your recipe. Also, I know a lot of you are new here, so if you didn't already know, I am a vegetarian, so please send the recipes accordingly. Okay, I don't have anything more to say. I'll see you in my next one. Bye!
She's a Mona Lisa. Everyone's lining up to see her. She's a Mona Lisa. Everyone's lining up to see her. There must be something about her features. You'll find her beauty goes much deeper once you get to meet her. You see her walking down the boulevard. She got the posture of a superstar.